From the All Indiana Podcast Network. The All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know and more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, September 25th. Just like each day this week, today gets a little bit warmer and even a little bit warmer for your Saturday. We're going to top out today in the low 80s. Tomorrow, another dry day, highs in the low 80s again. Finally, on Sunday, we have a chance for some much-needed rain, and that is followed by a big cool down for next week. All right, this morning we learned that French prosecutors are now opening a terrorism investigation after a knife attack outside the offices of Charlie Hebdo. That might sound familiar to you after an attack there a few years ago. It is the satirical newspaper where a 2015 terror attack killed 12 people. Today's attack wounded 2 people. Authorities now say there was one attacker, not 2, as they had initially said. They're not giving a definite motive in today's attack, but are treating it as possible terrorism. And this morning, Ruth Bader Ginsburg's body will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol. She'll become the first woman and first Jewish American to do so, and only the second Supreme Court justice. Lawmakers and family members will attend a ceremony at the Capitol this morning. Ginsburg will be buried next week in Arlington National Cemetery next to her late husband. Amy Coney Barrett appears to be the leading candidate to replace Justice Ginsburg after meeting with President Trump earlier this week. The president says he will make an announcement tomorrow. News 8's Hannah Mordeau spoke to 3 of Barrett's fellow law professors at Notre Dame, and they all think she would be the best person for this Supreme Court seat. Justice Ginsburg after meeting with President Trump earlier this week.
The president says he'll reveal his pick tomorrow. News 8's Hannah Mordeau spoke to people who know her well to get a sense of who Amy Coney Barrett really is. Who talked? What they have to say, Hannah?
Well, I talked to 3 of Amy Coney Barrett's fellow law professors from Notre Dame, and they all say they think she would be the best person for this Supreme Court seat.
In addition to her legal intelligence, which would make her an unbelievable selection for the court, she's also one of the most warmest, open-minded people.
I think everyone should feel better if Amy Barrett is on the U.S. Supreme Court, because you will never find someone who is more fair-minded, more honest, more disciplined, more just than Amy Barrett.
She is so sincere and direct and transparent. You know what you're getting with her. There aren't any hidden agendas or playing games. She's honest about what she thinks about the law.
So far, Barrett is the only potential pick President Trump has interviewed. If chosen, it could mean another Republican-appointed justice on the Supreme Court. There are already 5, so this would far outnumber the current 3 Democratic appointees. Barrett's colleagues say judges must interpret the law without political bias, and that she would do that and has the support of her former students, professors, and co-clerks. For some background, Barrett began her career as a law clerk for the late Justice Antonin Scalia. She went on to become a law professor at her alma mater, Notre Dame. Fellow law professors say her education diversifies her from the rest of the court, who are mostly Harvard and Yale educated judges, but she has been scrutinized. Back in 2012, she signed on to a public letter protesting that abortion and contraception coverage of the Affordable Care Act were an assault on religious liberty. Barrett's Catholic faith was also a major focal point during her 2017 confirmation hearing for the 7th Circuit Appeals Court. But her colleagues tell me that her religious beliefs shouldn't be a consideration.
In the United States, we don't have a religious test for any kind of office, right? And so the fact that people would try to make a big issue out of this is completely shameful and should be condemned.
Her philosophy of the judiciary and what judging requires does not permit a person to integrate and import their own personal views or their own politics into her work as a judge. And that should give everybody comfort.
That was Hannah Mordeau reporting. And now that Senator Mitt Romney has said he is on board with moving ahead with a vote before the election, it all but ensures any nominee put forward will be confirmed. And any moment, we should find out if Marion County will ease any of its pandemic restrictions as the rest of the state moves forward with reopening plans. State data shows Marion County has a higher 7-day test positivity rate than neighboring counties. Mayor Joe Hogsett and the health department have previously cited those numbers as a reason to hold Marion County back. Right now, the city is facing a lawsuit from 15 bar and restaurant owners who contend the current restrictions are unconstitutional. You can watch the mayor's announcement at 10 a.m. coming up here in just minutes on Wish TV. You can also stream it live on wishtv.com.
Searching for a romantic summer getaway? Escape with Rich Girl Summer, the new Audible original from Lily Chu. The exquisitely talented Philippa Sue, returning to narrate her 5th Lily Chu title. This time, Philippa is joined by her real-life husband, Stephen Pasquale. Set in Toronto's wealthy cottage country, aka the Hamptons of Canada, Rich Girl Summer follows the story of Valerie, a down-on-her-luck event planner posing as a socialite's long-lost daughter, while piecing together the secrets surrounding a mysterious family and falling deeper and deeper in love with the impossibly hard-to-read and infuriatingly handsome family assistant, Nico. Caught between pretending to belong and unexpectedly finding where she truly fits in, Valerie learns her summer is about to get far more complicated than she ever planned. She's in over her head and head over heels. Listen to Rich Girl Summer now on Audible. Go to audible.com/richgirlsummer.
The second night of protests in Louisville brings more damage and more arrests. Police say protesters damaged a restaurant, some buses, and a library. The department says officers arrested 24 people last night. They arrested 100 the first night when demonstrations became violent and 2 officers were shot. The protests follow a grand jury's decision not to charge officers directly for the death of Breonna Taylor during a raid. This morning, we expect to hear from family members of Taylor. Their attorney says the family wants to see exactly what the grand jury saw, and they want all of the transcripts of the grand jury proceedings released. Kentucky's governor is also calling on the state attorney general to release all of the information from the grand jury. The president of Indiana University recommends removing the name of a former president from campus. David Starr Jordan served as IU president in the late 1800s. He was a leading advocate for the separation of races and forced sterilization to maintain it. Current IU president Michael McRobbie is offering several recommendations. He wants Jordan Hall to be renamed the Biology Building. Jordan Avenue Parking Garage would become the East Parking Garage, and the stream known as Jordan River would be called Campus River. McRobbie plans to formally present his recommendations to the Board of Trustees next week. 8 schools across the state of Indiana just landed a new honor. They are the newest Blue Ribbon schools, earning the Department of Education honor for strong academic performance. Central Indiana schools on the list are Heron and Speedway High Schools, Harris Elementary in Greenfield, and Boone Meadow Elementary in Whitestown. There are new Blue Ribbon schools in northern and southern Indiana, too. They'll all be honored in a virtual ceremony in November. IMPD is adding patrols along 38th Street to curb a rash of dangerous driving and deadly wrecks. Police say 8 people have died in crashes along the corridor in the last 4 months. City leaders say more people have been speeding and illegal street racing on 38th Street during the pandemic. IMPD says it's trying 3 methods to make the streets safer. The first, adding officers so that people will see them and be less likely to drive recklessly. The second, more enforcement, stopping drivers who break laws. And the third, education. IMPD says it may add more patrols to other city streets prone to dangerous driving as well. A former Hamilton County magistrate has been sentenced to 2 years in prison after being caught in a drug sting. William Greenaway took a plea deal for 1 charge of possession of methamphetamine and 1 count of resisting law enforcement. Police arrested Greenaway last year when he bought meth from an undercover police informant. Investigators say he tried to hide the drugs by swallowing them, then bit the detective who tried to get the drugs from his mouth. Congressional leaders on both sides of the aisle are vowing an orderly election. President Trump's refusal to commit to a peaceful transfer of power if he loses prompted quick reaction around Capitol Hill. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell tweeted that there will be an orderly transition as there has been every 4 years since 1792. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi echoed the sentiment in a news conference asking Trump to honor his oath to office. The FBI says the biggest threat to Indiana voters is misinformation on social media when it comes to this year's election. IT Mate spoke with agents from the Indianapolis office. The FBI says it does not have the ability to take down a fraudulent post, though the agency does have a working relationship with social media companies that allows the FBI to offer suggestions on posts that may be coming from an illegal site. The FBI says it's also watching for people attempting to manipulate older and or intellectually challenged voters. More than 100,000 people have already requested mail-in absentee ballots statewide for the November election. Kohl's is going on a holiday hiring spree in central Indiana. The retailer says it needs to fill 2,000 seasonal positions at its fulfillment center in Plainfield. Kohl says it's also still hiring seasonal jobs in stores. We have a link to the company's application site on wishtv.com. And the annual Mutt Strut is tomorrow. And for the first time, it will be done in a, you guessed it, virtual fashion. Volunteers are asking you to join them. Normally, Mutt Strut is at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the big oval. But this year, animals will be up for adoption and will walk around the Indy Humane parking lot, from dogs, cats, puppies to kittens. And you're encouraged to take your own pet out for a walk as well. CEO of Indy Humane says it costs around $400,000 a month to maintain operations, and hopes that this virtual event can really bring in those donations. There'll also be a virtual scavenger hunt. You can share your photos using the hashtag IndyMuttStrut. The Friend Raiser will be live streamed on Facebook at 10:30 tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. Just visit IndyMuttStrut.org to make a donation. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll meet you right back here on Monday. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at WishTV.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com. allindianapodcastnetwork.com.